Aloha, friends. Welcome to the Tuesday Travel Chat. I'm Natasha Ho. Thank you so much for joining me. As you can see, we are headed off to the gorgeous Hawaiian Islands today. You can check out my lei. I'm super excited for today. Hawaii for me always brings good memories and good vibes. So Hawaii is located in the Pacific Ocean. It's an archipelago in the Pacific Ocean, as you probably know. But what you may not know about Hawaii is actually made up of hundreds of islands in the Pacific Ocean. And hi, Helen. I'm so glad you could join us this time. And it's the many volcanic islands, but there's 5 main ones that you would probably visit if you were to go to Hawaii. There's Oahu, there's Hawaii, the big island, Maui, Kauai, and Lanai are the bigger ones that you would probably visit. And obviously Hawaii is a gorgeous place. When I think of vacation, I think of Hawaii. I think of the beauty of Hawaii. And so today I'm going to talk to you about how you can bring a taste of Hawaii home, things that you can do, eat, and watch to bring a Hawaiian staycation home for yourself. So like I said, I'm super excited for this one because I always have really great memories of Hawaii. I brought out all of my favorite Hawaiian souvenirs. I have this charm bracelet that I got when I went to Hawaii. It's absolutely one of my favorite things in the world, and it always brings good memories. So Hawaii, like I said, it's like a paradise, but the beauty of Hawaii is not just in its natural beauty, but in the culture of Hawaii. And in order to have a Hawaiian staycation, you have to bring that home. You have to bring aloha home. And aloha is more than just a greeting in Hawaii. Aloha encompasses an entire spirit or way of life and the culture of Hawaii. And so what it means, it takes on lots of meanings. So it's hard to encapsulate it in one way of translating it, but it's really about joyfully sharing life with all beings, with all creatures, and taking the time to really connect with everything around us, from the people that are around us, the creatures and the animals around us, the earth, as well as, the land and the sea. And so if you want to create a Hawaiian staycation, the first thing that I recommend that you do is just slow down. Hawaii, if you've heard ever the stereotypes about Hawaii, it's like everyone operates on Hawaii time. And it's true. When you get there, everything slows down. Life in Hawaii is easy and breezy. And so in order to recreate that, you have to slow down, way down, and really start to savor the moment, savoring life and enjoying everything that's around us. So I encourage you to go outside and go for a walk, but really notice the things around you. Listen to the sounds of the birds. And if you stop and look at a flower, really admire it and smell it and take in the beauty of it. And when you're around people, really, cutting off all of those distractions and being with people. And there's this really cool proverb that I read, this Hawaiian proverb. It says, the earth, the sky, the sea are mine to care for, to cherish, to protect. So I encourage you to take that to heart and get outside, sit under a shady tree and just soak that in. Or like I said, if you're near the water, get close to water, get close to the ocean or a lake, get close to the earth. And that's really where experiencing Hawaii, experiencing aloha starts, is by getting out into the world and savoring all of those different smells and sounds and everything. And so joyfully sharing with all of that is the first part that I encourage you to really set the foundation for an amazing Hawaiian staycation. So bringing the aloha spirit home is first and foremost. And then the next thing is, when you get to Hawaii, what do you expect? Of course, you have to get a lei. It is the quintessential symbol of Hawaiian hospitality, and the lei has an ancient history in Hawaii. It dates all the way back to when the Polynesians came over. They brought it from Tahiti, and it's always been a symbol of beauty and peace and adornment. And so, like I said, now it is the symbol of Hawaiian hospitality. So everywhere you go, you'll always get a beautiful lei offered to you. And this lei that I have on right now, I made this lei. It was actually really easy, and that is one of the things I recommend doing. Is you can make your own lei at home if you have kiddos with you. This is a really fun activity that you can include them in, picking the flowers and picking out the design for your lei. So making a lei is really simple. You just need to collect the flowers, and for the flowers, traditionally in Hawaii, you would use things like orchids or plumeria. Carnations are popular. Tea leaf is also another popular one, but you can use any flower that you have, any flower that's around. I live in Washington State, so rhododendrons are everywhere right now. They're like, my whole yard is covered in rhododendrons. Every time I walk around the corner, there's like dozens and dozens of rhododendrons in bloom. So that's what I used. I just went outside and I started picking these. So you'll need about 50 blossoms. And so that's why it's great to pick whatever you have around. So they'll be really inexpensive. And you pick the blossoms. You want to pick them from the stem to make sure that they stay sturdy when you're making your lei. You'll need also some strong thread, like cotton thread, as well as a needle. And there's a special needle that they use in Hawaii. It's a steel needle that's really long, but you can use any needle that you have at home. I just used a needle that I had on hand. And it took me about maybe 20 or 30 minutes to put together this lei this morning. And you can pick different colors, different types of flowers, and mix and match them. This is called a single strand lei, but there's lots of different styles. And in Hawaii, there's lots of different styles of leis. So it's totally fine to go with whatever you can find, even if it's not just flowers. There are leis that are made from seeds and from ferns and from all sorts of leaves and plants. So the lei is really a versatile thing that you can create, and in whatever you have around you. Again, getting close to the earth and feeling the aloha spirit. So this is a really cool way that you can bring that home. And I have specific instructions step by step for you in the blog post that's in the description. So you can look at that and you'll see exactly all the steps that you need to go through to create your lei. But this is a really fun activity, and I mean, what better way to feel like you're really in Hawaii than to have the lei on? And the proper way, I'm actually not wearing this the proper way. The proper way to wear your lei is that it's supposed to be draped both in the front and in the back. So this is the proper way. It shouldn't be drooping like a full necklace. This is the proper way. When I went to Hawaii a couple of years ago, the woman who helped us make leis, she taught us that this is the proper way that you're supposed to wear your lei. So that is a really fun activity that I hope you can do at home. And the next thing is, while I was making my lei this morning, I was listening to Hawaiian music, and it totally set the mood and set the stage while I was threading the flowers onto the lei. So I encourage you to listen to some Hawaiian music. If you've never listened to Hawaiian music before, it's absolutely like peaceful and relaxing, and it'll transport you to the islands pretty much instantly. The sounds you'll usually recognize or associate with Hawaii, or like the ukulele. They also, I think it's called the slack key guitar is a really popular instrument. And the strong falsetto voices that you'll hear. There's this Pixar short that I absolutely love. It's called Lava, and they have a whole song where it's the Hawaiian sound. It sounds like a Hawaiian song, but it's they're singing the story of this volcano that is going extinct. And to me, those sounds are always the things that really transport me and take me to those other places. So I would encourage you to listen to that. You can also listen to Hawaiian music that has Hawaiian lyrics, which is really cool because you can actually hear the Hawaiian language, which is still widely used throughout Hawaii. So definitely is a great way to set the mood, is with some Hawaiian music. And then the next thing is, you know me, it's always about the food. We got to eat some delicious food to really take us to the places that we visit. And Hawaii has an absolute plethora of options to choose from. Hawaiian food has been influenced by many different cultures. So there's influence of the Polynesians, obviously, as well as the immigrants. We have Western immigrants that moved to Hawaii. We have Asian influences as well. So the Polynesians brought with them things like the coconut and actually I made a list here. Let me go back and look at my list of things they brought. Oh, so they brought coconuts, bananas, taro, and kalua, which is a cooking technique. So if you've ever heard of kalua pork, This is the technique that the Polynesians brought over, where they take the whole pig and they roast it in the ground. And the kalua actually means that it was cooked under the ground in an underground oven. So that is something that dates back millennia. It's a really old technique and a food that the Hawaiians still eat. You'll see it on the menu all the time in Hawaiian restaurants. And then the Westerners brought things like sugar and pineapple and Spam. And then the Asian influences, we have things from Japan and China and Korea and Southeast Asia. So there's lots of different influences in Hawaiian food. And it's really a fusion culture and a fusion cuisine, which is really cool because you taste all the different influences from all these different time periods in every single meal and specialty. And one of the delicacies that I want to share with you today is definitely a fusion food. It is called Spam musubi, and it's really popular in Hawaii. And it has Spam in it. Which is a mystery meat kind of concoction, if you're not familiar with Spam, that comes in a tin can. But Spam musubi is everywhere, and it's really a hallmark of kind of like a snack food that everyone knows and loves in Hawaii. And Spam came to Hawaii during the World War II when the soldiers were stationed there. That was one of the foods they sent over because it kept for a really long time. And after that, it grew to be really popular as a staple throughout Hawaii. And Hawaii now is, I think, one of the top consumers of Spam in the entire world. So they absolutely love their Spam there. And the musubi is a fusion of the flavors of the Polynesians, the Japanese, and Americans, obviously, who brought over the Spam. So I have a little example here for you guys. If you've never seen a Spam musubi before, it has a relatively few ingredients and it's really easy to make. It has the sushi rice in it, has Spam, obviously, and nori, as well as sugar and soy sauce and furikake. And these are all ingredients that you would be able to find at your regular grocery store. Hey, Alexis, nice to have you. Good to see you. And you can go to an Asian grocery store if you have one nearby. It might be a little bit easier to find more options, but all of those ingredients, I've always been able to find them at my regular grocery store because most stores have like an Asian section, so you can find things like sushi wrap, which is what the nori is used for. And so I put all of the step-by-step instructions in the blog post for you, but it's a really easy dish to make. And I don't eat pork myself, so I cannot attest to how good it is, but everyone I know that eats pork loves the Spam musubi, and they say how delicious it is. So I highly recommend that. If you're like me and you don't eat pork, there are lots of other ways you can integrate Hawaiian ingredients into your everyday menu. So everything from like pineapple and, like I said, the macadamia nuts. Taro is another really popular ingredient. Breadfruit is a really cool one that you may not normally eat, that you can also find at many regular grocery stores as well as like Asian markets. Seafood is huge. Obviously it's an island, so seafood is a really big part of their diet. Things like mahi-mahi. Mahi-mahi is one of my favorite fishes, so I have a recipe that I linked to in the blog post that I think is really good. Garlic shrimp is a delicious Hawaiian staple. You'll find little cars all around the islands that sell these. So another great way to bring the flavors of Hawaii home. And I also have a drink recommendation for you guys, which kind of combines all of those flavors of Hawaii, the tropical flavors. So I made this. It's a mocktail this week. Usually I have a cocktail for you guys, so you can always, add a little extra something to this if you want to turn it into a cocktail. But I made a mocktail this week, and it has in it lime juice, mint, ginger beer, and macadamia nut milk. So I made the macadamia nut milk myself. So all it takes is water, macadamia nuts, and a little bit of sweetener. And again, step-by-step instructions are in the blog post, but I soaked them for a couple hours and ran it through a blender and then through a strainer, and that was it. So it's a super easy recipe for making the nut milk, but I mixed it together, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so refreshing. I want to drink it right now, but it always messes up my lipstick, so I'm not gonna drink it. But it's really, really good and refreshing, and it makes you feel like you're on vacation, which to me, it's just like ready to sit out under the sun, baking, feel the breeze, all of those kinds of feelings that make me feel like I'm ready to relax and let go. So that recipe is there for you in the blog post. It's super, super good. Moving on, the next thing I wanted to share with you is some things to watch. So we've covered do, we've covered taste, and now things to watch that will help you bring a taste of Hawaii home. And there are really dozens of movies that are set in Hawaii, lots and lots of options. One thing I noticed as I was doing my research, though, is a lot of movies are set in Hawaii, like things you may have seen like Jurassic Park and Raiders of the Lost Ark is set there. And then there's like funny movies that are where people live in Hawaii, like Forgetting Sarah Marshall and 50 First Dates, which are really fun ones to watch because you kind of get to see people on vacation in Hawaii, which makes you kind of feel like you're there with them. But I was looking for movies that really encompass what we were talking about, aloha spirit. And so you got to see the life on Hawaii as well as connect with the actual culture and the people of Hawaii. So the first movie, it is actually recommended. Honolulu Magazine said it's the most accurate portrayal of life in Hawaii and Hawaiian culture. And it may come as a surprise to you, but the first movie is Lilo and Stitch, which is the Disney animated feature, which is about a little girl who lives in Hawaii, Lilo, and she adopts a dog, a creature that she thinks is a dog, who's actually an extraterrestrial experiment. And they have this whole crazy adventure. The creature was created to wreak havoc, but Lilo is able to teach him about ohana, which is the Hawaiian concept of family, and it teaches him how to love, and he turns into a great member of the family. But it's a really cool movie because it teaches you a lot about these concepts that are a part of Hawaiian culture, and you get to see actual Hawaiian people and all of that portrayed. So it's a really, really fun movie. I thought it was funny that, you know, the most accurate movie about Hawaii is actually a movie about an extraterrestrial, but it's a really good movie, especially if you have little ones. Moana is another one. It's not specifically Hawaiian, so that's why I didn't pick Moana, because it's kind of generally Pacific Islander, but Hawaii, Lilo and Stitch is specifically about Hawaii, so that's a really good one. And then the next one that I have, and just a note, these are all available on streaming, so Lilo and Stitch, you can find that on Disney+. I always pick ones that are easy to stream so that you don't have to try to track down movies, which I don't even know, do they sell regular movies anymore? I think everyone's pretty much streaming, but these are available for streaming. The other one is called Huamana, and this one is about a kind of like a washed up hula dancer who performs in a luau show, and he's asked to teach a group of high school boys how to do the hula. And so he's running a hula school, and it's a really incredible story. Just watching the trailer, I got like teary-eyed and touched by everything that they were talking about. And so it really brings you into the story of what the significance of hula in Hawaiian culture. It's not just something that is performed at luau's for tourists. It's really a part of the culture. And so you get to see the significance of it and what it means to the people and how they pass on that tradition, which has been a part of their culture for hundreds of years. So I think it's a really great way to learn more about that. So I highly recommend that as a movie to watch. That one's streamable on Amazon. And again, you can find the link in the blog post. And speaking of hula dancing, what better way to take yourself to Hawaii than to try hula dancing for yourself? Hula dancing is another tradition that's, like I said, been a part of Hawaiian culture for a really long time. It was brought over by the Polynesians, and there are all the islands throughout the Pacific Islands. A lot of them have different dances that are used for storytelling, which is what hula is used for. It's a storytelling dance, but hula is very specifically a Hawaiian one. So while you might see other islands that have their own versions, this one is specifically Hawaiian. And the hula, there are lots of different styles of hula. You'll see ones that are kind of slow and sentimental, and then there's ones that are more energetic and fast, and it just depends on the story that's being told. It might be something about warriors, it might be something about family and love stories. So with hula, there's tons of different ways that you can learn it online. There's lots of tutorials. I pulled a few for you that will teach you the basic steps of how to do a hula. And I tried it myself. One, it is a really good workout. And two, it's really fun. So a great one to do for yourself or with family or with friends or with your, Zoom friends, whatever you want to do. I think it's a really fun way to bring Hawaiian culture home. So if you don't go to the luau, you can create your own show. And now you have dinner and you have a show for yourself and of course a lei. So you have the whole entire package for a Hawaiian staycation. And the last thing that I recommend for you is doing a visit to the Iolani Palace. The Iolani Palace is, we used to be the seat of the Hawaiian monarchy. So before Hawaii became a part of the United States, before statehood, it had centuries and centuries of history and a really rich and deep past and culture. And so the Iolani Palace is located on the island of Oahu in Honolulu. And like I said, this is where the monarchy used to operate, and this was their home. And so if you go there, you can learn all about this deep history of Hawaii and all the things that the islands have been through, from, when the Polynesians arrived to the growth and the chiefs, and then the different kings and queens and all of the rebellions and things like that happened. And for me, it was one of the most powerful things that I did while I was in Hawaii, because, in the tourist bubble, you kind of learn about, okay, I just want to see like the luau's and stuff like that. But there's a lot more to Hawaii, which can make it a really, really interesting and rich visit by learning about all these other aspects. And so I think it's super important to include that in your trip as well, because it gives you so much more appreciation for the culture. And for me, after that, I was just like, wow, it's such a gift that Hawaii is willing to share their island with us and their culture with us, and that they're, a part of the United States, but a part of the world. And so I definitely highly recommend checking out the Iolani Palace. Like I said, they have a virtual tour where you can see all of the different parts of the buildings and learn about the history of the Hawaiian Islands and the Hawaiian monarchy. So definitely recommend checking that out. And that pretty much brings us to the end of today, wrapping up our Tuesday travel chat. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I guess I can say aloha now at the end, since aloha can both be a greeting and a farewell. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome Tuesday. If you know people who would love to join us, who are looking for ways to enjoy their stay at home, their lockdown, whatever you want to call it, quarantine. Basically, if you're looking for ways, if you know other people who are looking for ways to have fun, explore new places, and make the most of their time at home, please feel free to invite them. I would love to continue growing this group and building our community that we have here. So thank you and have a wonderful afternoon. Aloha.